Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Although any breach of law and order is the subject of immediate and vigorous action on the part of the Highway Patrol, the special target of any law enforcement agency is the criminal who has escaped detection over a long period of time. Such a case occurred on September 9th, when a holdup by a man identified only as the Polka Dot Bandit climaxed a series of unsolved crimes. After 4 weeks of intensive investigation, there was still no clue to the elusive criminal.
Get in. Get in the car. You want to live, don't you make one false move. Give me that bag. Put your hands on the wheel and keep them there. Now, you drive out as though nothing happened. Go about a mile down the highway before you stop. I'll be right behind you, and I'll kill you dead on a doornail if you don't do exactly as I say.
Yeah, what is it?
Teletype from upstate. The latest suspect in the case of the Polka Dot Bandit was a complete washout. The last holdup charged the Polka Dot was a month ago, and this suspect was in a Ventnor County jail that night.
Well, that's a fair country alibi. Where's that leave us?
Right where we came in 6 months ago. We've questioned over 30 suspects in that time and no takers. I'm beginning to lose patience.
Now, wait a minute. It's patience that's keeping Mr. Polka Dot out of prison. He's not greedy. Other hoods get successful, they start pressing their luck, not this guy.
That's right. Sometimes his jobs are 4 to 5 weeks apart.
Yeah, and he's got no pattern or location. He's satisfied with a small take. We'll keep working on it.
Say, I wonder how he spends his time between jobs and what kind of a man he is.
Hurry up, Daddy. You're a slowpoke.
No, come on. Who's a slowpoke? I better beat you.
I beat you.
No, you didn't. I'm gonna get you. Oh, you thought you could beat me, did you?
Uh-huh.
Hi, we're home.
Good. You have a nice walk?
Great, but it made us hungry.
I'll give breakfast in just a few minutes. Was Daddy a good boy?
Oh, yes. I never even had to scold him once. But we saw a little bird that fell out of a tree.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I picked him up, and Daddy climbed the tree and put him back in the nest.
Well, your daddy was a nice man to do that.
Oh, it was nothing really. Any lad who can climb a tree would have done the same thing.
And the mother bird came along and just made an awful fuss. She thought Daddy didn't belong in the tree.
But Daddy survived.
Oh,
But it won't
sure.
much longer without something to eat.
All right. You go wash your little hands and face. We'll feed all of us in just a few minutes.
You hurry up now. Come in. Hello, Keith. What are you doing here?
I just stopped by to say hello.
Now, look.
Who is it, dear?
Now, Sally, this is Ed Merchant, an old friend of mine. Ed, this is my wife.
How do you do, Mr. Merchant?
How do you do, Mrs. Tobin? It's a pleasure.
I'm all cleaned up, Mother.
Mr. Merchant, this is Debbie, our daughter.
I'm pleased to meet you, sir.
Hello, Debbie.
We're just about to have some breakfast. You'll join us, won't you, Mr. Merchant?
Well, thank you very much. It sounds like a very nice idea.
Come on, Debbie. You can help Mother. Excuse us, please.
Well, it's a nice house, Keith. Lovely wife and daughter.
What do you want?
I want to team up again. 10 years ago, when we worked together, jobs used to come off like clockwork. No big killings, but we made a living.
Then you decided to branch out.
Yeah. My first job alone, I got picked up. I just got out of prison 2 weeks ago, on parole. I need you, Keith. We can work together like we used to and make it click.
Not a chance in the world. Besides, I'm no longer in that business.
Oh, what business are you in?
I'm a salesman.
What do you sell? I can make things very unpleasant.
Don't you try to push me around.
Why, Keith, I'm not the type to push anyone around. I'm just trying to protect you and protect your family. Wouldn't it be awful if something happened to one of them?
Get out.
Okay. Will you give my apologies to Mrs. Tobin?
Get out.
I'll stop back again sometime. You might change your mind.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize how late it was. I just can't miss this appointment.
Debbie, Daddy's leaving.
Goodbye, Daddy.
Goodbye, honey. You look after Mother, huh? I won't be long.
Drive carefully.
Hello there.
Hello.
Where's Mother?
She went over to see Mrs. Riker. Do you know Mrs. Riker?
No, I don't.
She fell down a little while ago, and she can't walk very much.
Well, that's too bad. Tell me, honey, does Mother think it's a good idea for you to stay all alone like this?
I'm not alone. Sally Jane is with me.
Where's Sally Jane?
Right here.
Oh.
This is Pete Pete.
Why do you call him Pete Pete?
Daddy says he'd learn his name quicker if he heard it more often.
Daddy's a pretty smart man, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
Polka Dot Bandit.
Where?
Greenstone Mills. He got the manager of the Mills commissary as he's on his way to the bank with the weekend receipts.
What about roadblocks?
Set up, north and south of Greenstone Mills.
What's the time element?
Well, we got the call within 5 minutes of the holdup, and this time the victim gave us a good description of the bandit.
Polka dot mask, about 5'10", 170 pounds. Coat was brown tweed. Pin sticking in the left lapel. Brown slacks and brown shoes. How'd you get away from the scene of the crime?
On foot. Probably had a car stashed somewhere. We're checking.
All available units. The Gingrich Mountain area. I'm on my way now.
Sally? Debbie? What did I tell you?
You lied to me, Keith. You're not a salesman. You should find a safer place for your samples. Oh, I took the bullets out. I felt safer that way.
All right, what's the deal?
Half of what you picked up this morning and half of everything from here on out. And don't you try to stall me. I can get ugly, too.
Okay. I know when I'm licked. Here's the money. Where's your car?
Parked down the road a ways. Why?
I'll walk you down there. Sally might come back, and I don't want to explain things to her. Just a second.
All right, this is far enough. Let's make the split here.
I don't know why I should do this, Ed, but I'm going to give you one more chance. Now, you get out of my life, and don't you ever come back.
Although the finding of Merchant's body was a direct result of the search for the Polka Dot Bandit, there was no reason to suspect a connection between the two crimes.
He doesn't answer the suspect's description.
His name is Edward F. Merchant. He's on parole, released from prison 2 weeks ago. There's his parole instructions. He shot at very close range with what appears to be a small caliber revolver. Oh, by the way, the medical examiner and ambulance are on the way.
What's an ex-con doing in this neighborhood?
That bothered me, too. The actual shooting took place on the road. His body was dragged over there. It must have happened just a few minutes before I drove past.
There's not too many houses in this area. I'll take Glenridge Road. After another unit gets here, you take Pine Ridge.
Right.
Debbie, where are you?
Pick 'em up.
Debbie, what are you doing?
Playing bandit, Daddy, like Mr. Merchant showed me.
Debbie, honey, do you see that automobile?
Yes, Daddy.
Well, that's a highway patrol car, and here you are, a bandit. You'd better hide. They're ringing the bell now. Here, Debbie, quick. Hide in the trunk of the car. You better give me that gun. It could be evidence. Now, Debbie, honey, listen to me. Don't let this lid close, but keep very still and very quiet.
Gee, Daddy, this is fun.
Hello?
I'm Matthews, Highway Patrol.
Yes, Mr. Matthews. Come on in. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to the door. I was out in the backyard. I'm Keith Tobin.
You own this property?
Yes.
How long you lived here?
Oh, about 5 years.
You know an Edward F. Merchant?
No, I don't guess so. The name doesn't ring any bells.
Any strangers been around here lately?
No, not that I know of.
Has anybody new moved into this area?
I don't think so. Most of the people we know have been here a long time.
Okay, thanks. That'll do it, I guess.
Well, if there's anything else I can do...
I'll let you know.
The cops are gone, pal. We're safe.
I like your mask and gun, Daddy. I found them in your drawer. They're better than mine.
Debbie, where's Mother?
Oh, at Mrs. Riker's. Daddy, I'll get my mask and Jimmy's machine gun and we'll both play bandit.
Not now, honey. I've got to talk with Mother. Say, how'd you like to go up to Shad Lake for a few days?
Oh, Daddy, that would be fun.
Okay, I'll find Mother and we'll go.
$21.10 to $21.50. $21.10 to $21.50.
$21.50 by.
Located abandoned vehicle registered to Edward F. Merchant on temporary permit. Car was purchased 11 days ago.
Where's the car?
A little way south of where we found Merchant's body.
I'm on my way.
10-4.
I think it'd be wonderful to go to the lake, dear, but what do we tell the Harpers? They're expecting us this evening.
But, Sally, I've already promised Debbie we'd go. And how many times have you told me that I must not break promises to Debbie?
Okay. When you start quoting me to me, I quit. We'll go to the lake.
Found this in the glove compartment, an address on Glen Ridge Road.
224, Keith Tobin. I was just there. Tobin said he never saw Merchant.
Why did Merchant have Tobin's address in the car?
Let's find out.
I think that'll be enough for a few days.
Where's Debbie?
She's playing in the backyard. We'll pick her up on the way out.
I'll put these things in the car.
Well, now, if that's our suspect, we're in for trouble.
Sally, listen to me. There's some men coming to the door. They're going to ask if Ed Merchant was here this morning. Say no.
But, Keith...
Did you hear me? Say no.
Yes, Keith, I hear you.
Mr. Matthews, come in.
Thanks.
Mr. Matthews, this is Mrs. Tobin.
Mr. Matthews?
How do you do?
Mr. Matthews is with the Highway Patrol. He was here this morning asking some questions, but in the excitement of getting ready to go to the lake, I forgot to tell you.
You two live here alone?
That's right.
What about the little girl I saw in the yard?
That was our daughter, Debbie.
Oh, I see. Mrs. Tobin, this morning I asked your husband a question. Did he know an Edward F. Merchant? He said no. I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you know this man by name, or did you ever see him?
No.
What's your husband do?
He's a salesman.
What company?
He has his own sales agency, and he handles several different lines. Mr. Matthews, why are you asking all these questions?
We're looking for two men who might be in this area. This morning, one committed a robbery, the other a murder.
Murder?
We might be looking for one man who did both.
But why are you looking here? Why are you questioning us? Do we look like robbers? Does my husband look like a murderer?
Mrs. Tobin, we found a piece of paper with your name and address on it in the murdered man's car. Evidently, he was shot on his way here or murdered leaving the area. By the position of his car, it looks like he was leaving.
I don't care what you say. I don't care if he was coming or going. I know Keith, and I know he wouldn't have anything to do with this. Keith, tell this man that you know nothing about all this.
Of course I don't.
Satisfied?
Well, there's just one more question. What kind of a coat were you wearing this morning?
I'll answer that question. My husband has nothing to hide. He was wearing a brown tweed.
May I see the coat?
You certainly may. It's right here in the closet.
The victim of the robbery said the robber was wearing a brown tweed coat with a pin in the lapel.
Keith.
Hold it! Don't shoot! Get to the trunk of the car so we can't shoot or drive him into a wreck. Tobin, come out with your hands up.
Come and get me.
Tobin, don't shoot. Your little girl's in the trunk of your car.
You're lying. It's a trap.
I give you my word, we'll hold our fire, but get her out of there.
Debbie, are you there?
Daddy! Daddy, I'm here!
Debbie, my baby, my baby.
Oh, Daddy, I'm so scared.
It's all right, baby. Don't cry. It's all right now.
What are you doing to my daddy? It was just a game. I was playing bandit. And Daddy taught me to hide in the... So what... Daddy, tell them it was only a game.
Please, can we go now?
Take him away. I hope you'll be with us next week. Until then, remember, no matter how new, the safest device in your car is you. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.